Hey everybody, welcome to the broadcast. Great to have you along here. We have, I think, a fun topic for you today. We're going to talk about Corvettes. How about that, huh? And in the meantime, I'm Bill from BillOnTheRoad.com. Great to have you along. Let's jump right in here. If you are a fan of Corvettes, if you just like looking at them or you like driving at them, maybe you own one, chances are you have either heard of or been to the National Corvette Museum, which is located in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And that's where we are headed today. And we have Derek Moore, who is the Director of Collections and the curator there for the National Corvette Museum. Derek, good to see you.
Good to see you as well, Bill. And I love the intro, but you need a couple Corvettes in there.
I can't afford a Corvette, but yeah, if you want to maybe help me out in the next season, we can get me, maybe just we can fake it. Maybe just me riding in somebody else's Corvette. But I've been to the museum. I was looking last night to see when the last time that I was there, and it's been since 2013. So it's been a little while since I've been to the Corvette Museum. I know you guys have done some upgrades. You've made some national news, of course. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, at some point here in the next few minutes. But for folks who have never been to the Corvette Museum, I know we have a lot of B-roll, so I want to make sure we play some of this. There's a beautiful photo there. While I'm playing some of this footage, give people just a little background. What the museum's all about and what people will see when they visit.
Yeah, I mean, the museum is obviously about Corvettes and Corvette history. Of course, Corvette, one of the longest running nameplates in automotive history, and really has become what we call America's sports car. It's the longest living sports car in American history, and has a rich, rich history. Of course, only ever assembled in three places in the U.S. Flint, Michigan in '53 when it started, St. Louis for a number of years, and then now here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, the home of Corvette. And when you come here, of course, you see everything from modern Corvettes. You see one of the C8 deliveries going out there in the video that's playing, which is the newest version of the Corvette. But you learn the history from actually before Corvette was built and what inspired it, all the way up to the most modern move to the mid-engine platform, and kind of why that was done. And then there's all kinds of other stuff to do while you're here too. We have a motorsports park, we have go-karting, we have our Corvette store, of course, the delivery program. If you're buying a new Corvette, you can have it delivered to you here at the museum. So there's a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah, and to be honest, I only learned recently about, and you see there someone who's just picked up their new Corvette. I just learned that that's part of your experience, so you can actually have your Corvette delivered there, and as you mentioned, and picked up, and that's got to be. I think that's pretty neat. And I mean, you could, I guess, have it delivered to the dealership or maybe right to your home, but to have it delivered there at the museum and where people can watch you and they folks really enjoy that experience. I think that's kind of a cool. Is that a new thing that they've been doing, or have they done that all along?
Oh no, we've been doing it for a number of years. Actually, I think it actually started like the second year the museum was open. It's been running almost as long as the museum has been in existence. And it's really cool because there's a lot of unique things that come with the, what is called R8C delivery. That's the actual code that you order if you want it delivered here at the museum. And there's some special things that go along with it. Special plaque in the car, and one you get to take home that it was delivered at the museum. You don't get that at the dealership. And VIP tour of the museum, a little bit of behind the scenes, looks at things. So just there's a lot of cool features to getting that R8C option and having the car delivered here at the museum.
And I know that you are the curator, and I maybe you would imagine this, maybe not, but I've been to I feel like 10,000 museums across the country, and having interviewed a lot of folks who are curators, I know that generally at any museum you have things in storage and only a handful of your collection on display at any given time. But with the Corvette Museum, do you have pretty much everything out on the floor that you have in your possession?
Unfortunately, no. We are like most other museums where we do have a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Most of the time, museums, unfortunately, we don't have the exhibit space to display everything we have. We actively try to rotate our collection. So we are bringing cars in and out of the building every couple months, changing up areas in the museum. We like to say that no two visits are the same here at the Corvette Museum because we like to show people the different vehicles and different artifacts we have in the collection. Whether it is something as big as a Corvette, a car that's in the collection, all the way down to some of our smallest items. We have a number of exhibit cases in exhibit areas that we rotate some of our small artifacts through too that are, pertaining to Corvette history and really some really cool items, significant trophies from Corvette's racing history all the way back to the earliest days of racing. Um, you know, Outfits worn by Zora Arkus Duntov when he was racing. So there's a lot of things that we do try to rotate through, like we say, so that every visit is in some way unique to the museum, and you see something you didn't see last time.
And I had a couple of things that I wanted to ask you, but before I do, we invited listeners and I guess viewers to ask some questions. And this not surprising to me. Certainly, it won't be surprising to you. One of the biggest topics that came up had to do with the sinkhole that occurred. That opened up, I guess you would say, there in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Now, I remember, Derek, I got an email, as many journalists do. We get these little news updates and different things, and for whatever reason, I can still actually remember the day that it was early in the morning, and I looked at the email on my phone, and it said a sinkhole was opened up at the National Corvette Museum. That you got to be kidding me, and saw the security footage and the whole 9 yards, and so that experience. I think you all made the most of it. Are those now? We have a photo here. This is. I don't know if this is a current picture or not, but I have
Yeah,
to
it's
assume
a,
that that those are some pictures of cars that were in the sinkhole, or they, or a crash on the way in. I don't know. I'm guessing the sinkhole.
Yes, yeah. So this is a photo of the sinkhole cars, the exhibit that is in the Skydome. And for anybody who doesn't know, if you know the museum, the Skydome is the big yellow structure that we're kind of known for, and that's where the sinkhole opened up. And yeah, you're looking at a picture of the some of the damaged cars. You see in the distance, there's like the blue CR1, known as the Blue Devil, appears to be in perfect condition. There's three of the cars have been restored. They were not damaged so badly that they couldn't be repaired. So, three of the eight, we have, GM fixed two of those, and we actually repaired one in house. And then the others are kind of evaluated at a level where really trying to restore them would be more of creating a replica of the car than the original. So we've elected to leave them in their damaged state and allow people to see them as they came out of the hole. I mean, it is a big part of Corvette history now and the Corvette Museum history. So, we did elect to kind of leave those in that condition for people to see what happened and really the power of that type of event happening in a museum setting or really any setting.
Yeah. So I will just be honest with you. I'm not a big car guy. I like places like this. I will, I view the Corvettes or any other vehicle, whether it's a collectible or a brand new, as sort of a piece of art, I guess. But I'm not a car guy. I don't know a whole heck of a lot of about cars, but I enjoyed being part of the visiting the museum. I guess my question to you would be for folks who maybe are in my boat, who are not necessarily car enthusiasts. What do you think they would enjoy about visiting the Corvette Museum?
Well, I think there's a lot more to see at the museum and learn at the museum than just, general car history or Corvette history in this case. In some of the photos and video you've been playing, we have exhibits that are set in time periods. So what we would call vignettes or, and those allow people to not only see the cars and learn about the, technical history of the car, but it also speaks to just kind of American culture and learning about American history in these time periods and kind of what was going on in our culture and the excitement of the 1950s and 60s and just kind of a general American history, but all based in the idea that Corvette is an integral part of that history. And the reason it's known as America's sports car is just the role it has played through some of the decades of American history it's been in. So, I think there's a lot more, fun things to learn about history than just technical aspects of one car. But we talk about the rivals of Corvette, the Ford Thunderbird, the Dodge Vipers, and we talk about the people of Corvette history. So you also learn a little bit of that personal side, whether it be the race car drivers, the engineers, the designers, those type of people, or even just the enthusiasts that own Corvette, the average American that just is passionate about the car and why they're so interested. So it kind of gives you a deeper look into, the lifestyle of Corvette rather than just, as I say, kind of those technical, oh, it's a 350 cubic inch engine with this many horsepower. We really go beyond that so that everyone has something they can walk away enjoying having learned.
And then just a couple other things before we let you go. Let's just for a moment talk about this part of the building, because if you go through Bowling Green and you're going down the highway, you certainly see this area from, I assume it's just sort of a, like I live in St. Louis, so, the arch is kind of one of our things. You're home when you see the arch. I would imagine that many folks who live in Bowling Green, when they see at least this part of the museum from wherever vantage point they may be, they have to, know they're close to home, or it gives them a good feeling. Talk a little bit about being in this part of the museum and what folks can see in there.
Yeah, I mean the Skydome, as I mentioned, is what it's kind of referred to as, and it is a symbol of Bowling Green. I mean, it's actually in Bowling Green advertising. The local Visitors Bureau uses it as one of the kind of signature sites. But inside, it's really quite amazing. I mean, just the presence of the structure is awesome. But the main feature of it is actually that it is the Corvette Hall of Fame. So you see the images of people up on the walls in there. Those are actually the inductees of the Hall of Fame. And this is a little bit older picture. There's a lot more banners up now. But it gives you the history of, kind of the people that have been involved in Corvette history and acknowledging their stories. And the cars on display often either, relate to one or more of those people or are some significant story in Corvette history. So one of the cars displayed out there is the only surviving 1983 Corvette. Of course, they didn't build a 1983 Corvette. They built some, prototype test cars. All but one were destroyed, and that one now lives here at the museum. It's actually the white car in the lower corner of that picture. And there's also the story of the pace car, Corvette being, one of the most used vehicles to pace the Indy 500. And just we rotate through other significant cars in Corvette history. Right now, of course, talking about the move to the mid-engine platform, we have one of the powertrain development cars still in its camouflage wrap on display, so people can kind of see that. You saw them in pictures all over, and you saw them running around, and people getting those spy photos of them. But you didn't get a chance to see one up close back, when they were testing them. Now you have that chance to walk right up to it, see it in the flesh, and learn that part of the story. So it's really where we try to focus on some of the extremely significant cars from Corvette history and relate that to those significant Hall of Fame members.
And then the last thing I'll ask you, Derek, so we talk about travel here, we talk about road trips for people who are going through the state of Kentucky. They're passing through that area. I know we had a couple of questions along these lines as well, but are there places where folks could stay that are nearby? I know I was driving through, so I didn't stop for long in town. But are there places where people can stay the night? And I'm guessing there's other things you can see and enjoy in Bowling Green as well. Just make a whole trip out of it.
Oh yeah, there are a number of hotels, and unfortunately, I'm not up on the number of rooms there. I believe it's somewhere around 500 or more in Bowling Green rooms. There are hotels just across the street from the museum, and within 5 to 10 miles of the museum, there are some great restaurants in Bowling Green that I encourage people if you're here. I always like to try the local fare when I'm traveling. I don't tend to go to chain restaurants if I don't have to. And there are some phenomenal restaurants that are local here to Bowling Green. And there's a number of other, attractions and museums here in the Bowling Green area. Not only do we have our motorsports park for the Corvette Museum, but there's a railroad museum here in Bowling Green. There's an aviation museum here in Bowling Green, and a number of other activities. Of course, with the cave structure that is here, that causes sinkholes. Mammoth Cave National Park is not far away. So there is a lot to do in the Bowling Green, Kentucky, and greater area. So it is a great place to visit. Of course, we hope that folks make us the primary stop of their visit to Bowling Green.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope folks will do that. They can look you up online, of course. If they want some information, we'll have it up at billontheroad.com coming up in just a little bit here. But Derek, it was great visiting with you, sir. Continued success, and we'll all pray for no more sinkholes in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. It was a blast being on with you.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. Have a great day. All right, that's
You
Derek
too.
Moore. He is the curator for the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got some ideas for a future road trip. Of course, if you want more ideas, you can always go to billontheroad.com. If you are starting to plan those spring and summer vacations, be sure to check out our online store. We've got the travel guides for you there, billontheroad.com. You can pick up the latest book, Finding the American Dream, also 100 Things to Do in America Before You Die. Help you out with your upcoming road trips. There you go. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time.